Today we'll be taking a look at the crucial P5 Plus SSD, which I have purchased to expand the storage of my PlayStation 5. I'm constantly finding myself running out of storage space and having to delete games whenever I want to install new ones or reinstall games that I feel like revisiting. This has become a bit of a pain when the most popular games can be anywhere upwards of 100GB, even if you buy the disc versions, making the installation process quite slow when there's a large download involved. Well, hopefully we're going to fix this today. I'll do a quick unboxing of the SSD as well as showing the steps needed to install this into the PlayStation 5, and then finally setting it up through the PlayStation menus. There are a couple of options when it comes to expanding your PlayStation 5 storage, and these are internal or external storage. With external storage usually being more cost effective, but do bear in mind that external storage can only be used for your back catalogue of PlayStation 4 games. All PS5 games are required to be installed on internal storage, whether that be the storage that is built into your PS5 or on an internal upgrade like the one we're about to do here. So let's get into the unboxing. First thing to mention is I decided to go for this SSD for a number of reasons. Number one, it fit my requirements in terms of the storage size of 1TB. 500GB didn't quite feel like enough, while 2TB was probably too much for the number of games I get the time to play. Secondly, Crucial are a brand I've dealt with in the past, and I've been more than happy with the previous products I've purchased. And thirdly, the price. I picked this up around Black Friday from Amazon and saved over 30% on the recommended retail price, which were the cheapest it had ever been on Amazon and so looked to be a great deal. On opening the box, there's not too much in there other than a small instruction manual and the SSD itself. It's important to point out that this SSD comes with a built-in heatsink, which is a requirement if you are using this as an upgrade in your PlayStation 5. Also make sure that if you're looking to do a similar upgrade to this, then you need to be looking out for a Gen 4 M.2 drive, as this is another requirement to meet the minimum specification of drive your PlayStation would need. The drive I purchased here is a Gen 4, which has a read speed of 6,600 MB per second. The drive itself is quite heavy, in part to the heatsink, but feels really well made and premium and has a nice matte black finish to it, although obviously you won't see this once it's installed. So on to the install. The first thing we're looking to do is remove the side plate. This is the right hand side plate if you have your PlayStation 5 standing vertically, or the bottom plate if you have it horizontally. This is even easier to identify if you have the disc version, as it's the disc drive side. This next bit can be a bit tricky, especially if your side plates haven't been removed before, as you need to lift the side plate and slide it to your right, and this will unclip the side panel from the main body of the PlayStation 5. Once you've removed the plate, you can see where the clips are positioned, and this will give you a better idea of how to remove the plates in future, but also to reattach the plates once you've completed your upgrade. For this next step, you'll need a small Phillips screwdriver to remove the screw holding the expansion bay cover in place. One thing I did notice was the screw has the PlayStation 4 icons on the head of the screw, which is a nice finishing touch. Once the screw is removed, you can remove the expansion bay cover and remove the spacer screwed into the left hand side of the bay. Keep both the screw and spacer safe, as you'll need these again soon. Next, connect the SSD into the expansion port with the heatsink facing up and the connector to the right. It should push into the expansion port quite easily, but may need some pressure for it to click into place. Once you're happy that the drive is secure, you can then replace the spacer and screw at the end of the SSD to help support the weight of the SSD and secure it in place. Just something to note, you won't be replacing the spacer in the same position you removed it, as it's unlikely your SSD will take up the full expansion bay. Now you can replace the expansion bay cover, screwing it back into place using your Phillips screwdriver. Finally, we can replace the side panel of the PS5 taking care to make sure it clips fully back into place. This is especially important if you have the disk version, as if the side plate is not aligned correctly, then you could run into trouble when it comes to inserting your game discs. Once everything is back together, you can now reconnect your PS5 power cable and any other accessories you may have, and then start up your PS5. The first thing you will see will be this message, prompting you to format the SSD drive. This is completely normal, so your PS5 can set up and access your new drive. Formatting should only take a few seconds before you see a second message to instruct you on how to change where your games are installed, which is in the PlayStation menus, under Settings, Storage, Installation, Location. You can see here now that I have my original storage space, as well as an external drive that I use for older PS4 games, plus an extra 1TB that my new M.2 SSD is providing for my new PS5 games. Now you can enjoy more of your games without constantly having to uninstall and reinstall games each time you want a new game, or feel like revisiting a previously installed game. And that's it, you've come to the end of the video. Hope this has been useful. Thanks for watching, and please leave a like rating and consider subscribing, as it really helps out the channel. As always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. See you next time.